Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. I'm so glad that you're here for this special follow-up conversation to Soul the Story, episode 11. Today, we're joined by an incredible group of educators and leaders from Steubenville City Schools, a district that has not only implemented Success for All, but sustained it for more than 25 years with remarkable results. We'll spend the next 30 minutes digging into the systems, the supports, and leadership moves that made that possible. Our panelists will share candid reflections, lessons learned, and real stories from the classroom. Let's begin by introducing our panelists. From Steubenville, starting off, we have.
Hi, I'm Lynette Gorman. I am an elementary principal at McKinley STEM Academy, and I also coordinate Success for All for the Steubenville City School District.
Hi, I'm Emily Huffman. I am also at McKinley STEM Academy, and I am our Success for All coach.
Hi, I'm Dina Rosnick. I'm at West Puglisi Elementary, and I'm the Success for All coach.
Hi, I'm Gina Arlesick, and I'm also a Success for All coach at Harding Middle School, grades 5 through 8.
Hi, I'm Heather Kenline. I am the Success for All coach here at Wells Academy.
Hi, I'm Shelby Luther. I am a preschool teacher at Puglisi West. I'm also an intervention specialist for our preschool, and I teach Curiosity Corner.
Hello, I'm Erin Stessage. I am the Director of Implementation for Ohio with the Success for All Foundation.
Hello, everyone. I'm Bonnie Darby. I work with the outreach team at the Success for All Foundation.
And I am Rashandra Scott Covington. I work in outreach as well here at Success for All. Okay, so we're going to get started. To ground our conversation, I'd like to start with you, Lynette. Steubenville's story is powerful, from strong attendance to stable staffing to consistent achievement gains. Can you give us a brief snapshot of the district's journey and what brought you all to Success for All?
Sure, I'd love to. So Steubenville City Schools is in Eastern Ohio. We are along the Ohio River. We're a smaller school district with an enrollment of about 2,700 students. Our 4 elementary schools feed into 1 middle school and 1 high school. We're a high poverty school district with 92% of our students qualifying for free or reduced lunch. In response to Race to the Top grant back in the year 2000, Steubenville City Schools took the opportunity to adopt the Success for All reading and math program. Since then, 3 of our elementary schools have been recognized as National Blue Ribbon Schools, 2 of these schools as ESEA Distinguished Schools. All of our schools have been featured in numerous educational articles and in educational books. Last year, we were featured on the educational podcast, Soul the Story. Each year, we're happy to share our strengths and our struggles with school districts around the state and even nationwide. We're certainly happy to be invited to share with your audience today our experiences with the Success for All curriculum program.
Thank you. Thank you, Lynette, and congratulations on all those awards. They just keep coming. Wonderful, wonderful. Let's stay with you for our first question. Before partnering with Success for All, what were you and the district most worried about getting wrong for your students or your staff? And what felt most at stake at that moment?
Thinking back before Success for All, I think that teachers in the classroom were muddling through and hoping for the best. At that time, educational textbooks and materials were provided, and teachers just worked through that curriculum in isolation just with the students that were in their classroom. It wasn't until we adopted Success for All that we realized it to be more than just materials. It really is a system for instruction that literally changed the culture of the way we do things in our buildings.
Thank you for that. We have a question here and another concern that comes up a lot Many districts find themselves cycling through new literacy programs every few years. What has it meant both instructionally and financially to stop restarting and to know that your core system doesn't need to be rebuilt from scratch?
So instructionally, our teachers, because we've been using the program for 20 some years, we know the materials. It's not something that we have to plan daily. The frameworks used throughout the district, K through 8 or pre-K through 8, expectations are routine by now. The language is embedded into all of our classes, even our social studies, science, math classes. Our subs are able to use the SFA program because they've been in the district for a while too, so they've even been trained to use it. We have a lot of graduates coming back that learned through the SFA program, and now they're teaching the SFA program, so they're familiar with it also. Our families trust it because so many of our families went through Steubenville City Schools. Financially, we're not paying teachers to review new programs every so often. Our PD is ongoing. There's 3 visits a year that when our SFA coach comes into our buildings to see what's happening in the buildings and give us feedback in our glows and our grows. We are just replenishing materials. We're not buying whole new programs every couple years. So financially, it definitely saves us money because it's consistent and we don't have to buy whatever the new pedagogy is year after year.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for answering that. Let's keep it going around those lines. A lot of leaders, because we get this question a lot of leaders often worry that adopting something new will overwhelm the teachers and create a lot of initiative fatigue. What did you worry the impact on teachers would be, and what actually happened once implementation began?
I agree with you. I think at first there was a concern that Success for All would feel just like another initiative and overwhelming to the teachers. People worried about time, the expectations, and losing flexibility. But what actually happened was that the teachers felt more supported. They had clear routines, they were sharing materials, team planning. It made instruction easier, not harder. And as teachers saw the students making real progress in reading, I think it helped with their confidence and their buy-in to the Success for All program.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Thank you for that. I have another question in terms of what surprised the district most about the level of support during those early years, and where did SFA step in when things could have gone off track?
Well, what surprised me most as a teacher about the levels of support during implementation, especially in those early years, was how intentional and continuous it was. The trainings that took place before the school year even began set a strong foundation and helped everyone feel prepared and rather than overwhelmed. SFA stepped in at key moments where things could have gone off track by providing ongoing support from coaches and administrators. They didn't just come into the classrooms and observe. They modeled lessons and demonstrated strategies and provided meaningful and constructive feedback. This approach made us feel support and it collaborative rather than like an evaluative situation. The structured program also allowed teachers to learn from one another by observing peer model lessons, encourage collaboration across teams, grade levels, and with support staff, which strengthened consistency and it shared ownership of our student success. SFA visits consistently highlight both positive feedback and areas where we glow and in specific areas where we could grow, as we've said in previous questions. This balanced approach fostered growth without discouragement. Overall, this program focuses on the whole child, and I truly feel the curriculum support model also focuses on the teacher as a whole, ensuring both students and the educators are supported and set up for success.
Oh, thank you, Shelby. I like that. Everyone's feeling supported, teachers, the students. That's great. So my next question, and we've gotten this a lot, and I know you all have by so many people traveling to Steubenville, but people talk about equity in broad terms, but you all have seen it play out in real classrooms. Can you share a specific example of how this model changed outcomes or expectations for students who were struggling the most?
Yeah, I would love to take this one. One of the clearest ways this model promotes equity is how it changes the expectation of the student who historically struggles or has difficulties in certain areas. But before having exposure to the SFA program, many of those students were unintentionally given fewer opportunities to engage, especially in real-time classroom examples and situations. And we would kind of focus on remediation first and then stepping into the classroom. With the Success for All model, students receive explicit instruction that they're being held to a higher expectation along with their other peers, and they're given that content that they would have previously missed if they weren't in a real situation or they were out of the classroom. For example, over the last few years, I've taught reading roots, and I've had a lot of students come to me who entered the year somewhat below benchmark, whether that was them traveling to us from out of district or transferring from a different school. And previously, they would have spent a lot of their day isolated, just working on catching themselves back up, especially if they're missing those phonemic sounds and the different letters and all that stuff. So under this model, these students remained in the classroom during grade level instruction, which is key for these kids to not miss anything while they're in the process of catching back up to where they need to be. So it focused on the skill specific support in that reading block, the uninterrupted reading block that we all hold high up. So because of this, we saw increased confidence, higher engagement, measurable growth, especially with decoding, phonemic awareness, comprehension, and a lot of Success for All is partner work, and that helped build the children's confidence because even if they didn't know the answer, we gave them strategies to find it, not just with the teacher or different materials given. So students who once avoided reading, they began volunteering to read aloud. They ended up working with their partners, collaborating. Everybody's participating in the classrooms, and that starts, I mean, even with our preschool program. So this is paired with this also pairs with the Success for All tutoring that we do, which gets those kiddos one-on-one with a tutor to have that extra reinforcement for what they might have missed prior to and what they're learning in the classroom. So it really takes an entire school building with our solution teams and our component teams. It's a whole school-wide goal that we're trying to reach, that the kids are staying on task and catching up if there are any gaps. So equity in this case wasn't really about lowering the expectation of the kid. It was about changing access and what they have to become the best student they can become. So with this model, the Success for All model ensures that struggling readers really weren't defined by the gaps that they had. They were supported in a way that allowed them to grow alongside of their peers in the classroom, and it really directly changed outcomes, mindsets, and overall classroom, functionality.
Great. Okay, that is outstanding. And just to add to that, and you touched on this a little bit, Heather, Steubenville is known for their strong attendance and the low staff turnover. Has that always been the case? And how do you think having a clear, shared instructional system contributes to people wanting to stay?
I'm going to chime in on this one. Steubenville has always had a strong attendance due to the fact that when the students are here at school, they feel safe and they feel loved and cared for. You'll hear teachers at dismissal tell their students, we love you, have a good evening. One specific teacher here at my building reminds her students daily that she has three important jobs when they're here at school, and that is to keep them safe, to love them, and to teach them. And because the students are made to feel this way, it makes them want to come to school to learn. Our district has always had a low staff turnover ever since I went to school here. First and foremost, it's because our admin offers so much support toward our teachers, both existing and new hires. We're seen and we're heard here, and this is why our teachers stay. Secondly, our district committed to a clear instructional vision with Success for All. We invested heavily in the curriculum as far as instruction, assessment, professional learning. Having a well-defined instructional system contributes to our staff wanting to stay, because with SFA, the teachers aren't constantly trying to reinvent the wheel or, guess what successful instruction looks like. With SFA, it provides our teachers with clear expectations. And this is especially helpful for those new hires, those new teachers coming in. They're offered a lot of support with Success for All. And lastly, another motivator to stay within our district is that when you're here at work, you don't feel as though you're working alone. You almost feel like you're working with family, teammates. And I think that that's very important, having that good rapport with your colleagues. The teachers work very closely together here, whether it's with their grade levels or with their solution teams. That is put in place by Success for All. So, that is why we have very low staff turnover.
Well, I would like to also just piggyback on what Dina is saying. One of the things that really make Steubenville City Schools a unique district is we're a small town community, close knit. Most of us born and raised here, graduated from Steubenville High School, went on to college and came back to teach here. All of us on this panel have brought our own children through the district. You don't find that, I have the opportunity of speaking to many different districts across the state and even nationwide. And that's something that really is unique to Steubenville, is the fact that we're all from here and that we trust this school so much that we'll bring our own students here. And in doing that, it gives the teachers a vested interest in providing the best possible education for their own children and for our community students.
I love that. I love that. That it's like grow your own and really committing to the ultimate goal. Lynette, let me stay with you for a moment. So once those systems were firmly in place, how did your role as a leader shift, and what became easier or more focused than before?
Well, I would just say this. I would say that although the majority of the teachers on this panel today are instructional coaches, they all started as classroom teachers in an SFA curriculum. We take pride here in Steubenville in identifying our teacher leaders, if you will, and they kind of start off as being a leading for success leader within the team. Shelby Luther, she is outstanding preschool teacher. She's a leader in her school, which is the largest school in elementary school in the district. And I would say that she's a leader in curiosity for the entire district. There are always preschool teachers in other buildings who are reaching out to ask her questions. The same goes with the teachers who are on the panel today. Gina was a middle school teacher. Emily Huffman taught second and third grade. Heather Kenline was in the classroom as well, familiar with roots. Dina was in kinder. And so when we identify these teacher leaders, we want to encourage them to take on those leadership roles. And we try to make sure that we're putting the best possible teachers in those coaching positions. Rashandra, I don't know if I'm answering your question, but I just kind of wanted to get that in there. They all introduce themselves as instructional coaches, but it's really important to realize that they started off in the Success for All classroom.
Yes, you are definitely important in terms of the foundation. Thank you for that, Lynette. And I just want to say thank you to all of our panelists today. But before we wrap up, are there any final thoughts that anyone would like to share with our audience?
I don't mean to steal the spotlight, but I have just one other thing that I would like to say. Representing the district and representing, doing so much that I do, with Success for All, I just want to reiterate that Success for All is a research-based reform model. It provides a complete system. It's not just materials. And it helps us to provide the best possible education to our students by giving us a method for collecting and analyzing data. We're able to target instruction to our students' needs, which is very important, especially in this day and age. The distributive model for empowering teachers to make building level decisions, that would be the Leading for Success teams. Fantastic for school administrators who want to distribute the leadership and delegate some of the responsibility. I'm telling you, as a school principal, being able to empower my teachers to make building level decisions that they then follow through with the ideas that they have. It takes them out of isolation. They're not just caring for the 20 kids who are in their classroom. They're getting to know the students that are in the building and targeting those students with a high need. We're setting goals all the time. We're progress monitoring. It doesn't matter if you teach kindergarten or fourth grade. You may be checking in with that third grader or that second grader to ensure that they are improving and showing success. So again, I'm thrilled that you invited us here to be a part of the panel to speak on our experience. We can't talk about our success in Steubenville without talking about Success for All. It's important for school districts to realize we don't receive any kickbacks. We're not doing this because Success for All is providing us with, free curriculum. We're still paying customers, but we would be remiss if we didn't talk about our success and mention Success for All.
Oh, thank you so much for that, Lynette, especially with us being nonprofit. Thank you so much for that. I just want to thank you all for joining. Thank all of our panelists for your honesty and your insight. And thank you to everyone who joined us today and who's even considering Success for All and watching this clip, because we are recording it. We hope this conversation gives you a clearer picture of what's possible when systems are strong, support is consistent, and every student is at the center of the work. We want you all to have an awesome rest of the day, and we look forward. If there's anything that you need, if you're considering Success for All, you can reach out to us. Please contact us. We'll send out our information. You have it, and we look forward to partnering with many more school districts. Thank you for joining.